What's going on, guys? It's Aston Edmonds with Health and Swellness, and as you can see from the title, we are going to be discussing how to maintain your strength and muscle on a cut. But instead of just watching me talk to a camera, I decided I would just overlay this over top of some recent pull hypertrophy footage. The way I like to do my informational videos is I start with the most broad and obvious, and I work my way down to more specific, actionable advice. That way we can kind of knock out the more well-known information and really focus on the other stuff. So the first two things kind of go together, and it's kind of what you hear all the time, and it is to, keep your cut slow and controlled. Now the reason we do this is because if you lose weight too quickly, a higher percentage of that weight loss will be muscle. The slower you lose the weight, the higher percentage you will be losing fat instead of muscle tissue. To go along with this, you also want to keep your cut as short as possible. These 6 months long cuts, although sometimes they're necessary, it can be detrimental. Unfortunately, if you want to do a slow and controlled and a short cut, that means you don't have that much fat to lose. And that's one thing I want to touch on, is when we do our gaining or our bulking phases, to really try to limit the excess fat that we gain, because it's going to make our cuts more efficient and effective, and it's going to severely cut down the risk of losing strength and muscle. If you do have a lot of weight to lose, though, I still do recommend doing a longer, slow and controlled cut over a crash diet. Now we need to discuss how your workout should change during a cut, and the answer to that is it shouldn't. A common mistake when cutting is, people read in these fitness magazines that they need to do this specific workout to, tone and get lean muscle or whatever, the gimmick is. But you really, if you want your muscle and your strength to stick around, then you should be doing what you did to get it. The worst thing that you can do is go from doing 3 sets of 5 to doing 3 sets of 15, because the demand on your muscle is not going to be as high, and you really have to force your body to keep the muscle around. You need to let it know that it's still needed. And so really, if you are going to make any changes to your program, the only one that I would recommend would be to, if you're on a program now that's not periodized, then maybe you could keep the overall workout relatively the same, but actually periodize your lifts. So what that means is, if you're coming in and you're doing 3 sets of 10 every single week, change it to some sort of more, intelligent periodization, whether it's daily undulating or just linear, just doing something to help regulate the intensity. And that leads me perfectly into my next point, which is regulating your intensity. And that is saying, do not go to failure while you're in a cut. Going to failure is very taxing on your body and your central nervous system, and with less calories, you just don't have the means to recover as efficiently. So during a bulk, let's say your recovery is a 10 out of 10, and then you come in and you annihilate your muscle 10 out of 10, on the RPE scale. Well, then you can recover from that. But if on a cut your recovery is an 8 out of 10 and you're lifting at a 10 out of 10, you're just not going to be able to recover, and you're going to slowly get weaker. So when it comes to lifting while cutting, think about stimulate, not annihilate. I think that's famous words from Dorian Yates, but it remains true. And this is something that I struggle with, is regulating my intensity, because I just want to go in and kill it every single workout. But that's not the most effective way to do it during a cut. I recommend, stopping 1 to 2 reps shy of failure. And as I mentioned before, while you're cutting and you have lower calories, your overall recovery is going to be less than when you're bulking, obviously. So what we need to do is find other ways to improve our recovery. Some ways to do this would be to increase the micronutrients in your diet. So eat more, fruits and vegetables, maybe take a multivitamin. Micronutrients help in the recovery process. Also, getting more sleep. If you can get just a little bit more sleep every night, that's going to go a long way into helping you get fully recovered before your next workout and really help you keep that strength and muscle. Some other ways might be, foam rolling, stretching, getting massages. But I think eating a healthier, micronutrient-dense diet and getting sleep are going to be your two best ways of going about this. While we're on the topic of nutrition, let's talk about refeed days. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what refeed days are, typically while you're cutting, you're on lower carbs. So, I do it once a week. Some people do it less often or more often, just depends on their needs. You have a day where you eat more carbohydrates. What this does, it, ups your leptin levels and replenishes your muscle glycogen. So with that being said, on your refeed days, you're going to have more energy and your ability to recover is going to be higher since you have the extra food. So we need to use this to our advantage. So if you have a weak point, if you're a bodybuilder, weak body parts that, you really don't want to lose any size on, or if there's a specific lift that you tend to lose strength on easily, it would be wise to do that body part or that lift on your refeed day. That way, with the improved recovery, you can really help prevent strength loss. Now, the last couple are going to have to do with psychological factors. Now, some people have it in their head that just because they're cutting, they're automatically going to be weaker. I've overheard people say, I started cutting yesterday, so today, I'm definitely a lot weaker. And that's just not the case. It takes longer than that. Plus, at the beginning, you may lose some performance because you're not on the extra carbs without actually losing strength. So you need to get it through your head that it's very possible to maintain all of your strength and even increase strength slightly on a cut. The other piece of advice is, if you're having a string of bad workouts, maybe switch it up a little bit and try a exercise that you haven't before. That way you can set a PR on that exercise and give yourself a win. Because it's tough going into the gym every day and doing maybe less than you would do before. So switching up, giving yourself a win somehow is going to do a lot mentally. That's the end of the video. I hope this helped you guys out, or at least some of you got something from it. If you have any questions or want to add anything, let me know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up rating. Helps me out a ton. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. But until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.